What's up, everybody? redracer1985 here, and for those of you who may not know, I am a bit of a game show, well, not really a game show buff or nor a connoisseur or whatever. I mean, I watched a lot of game shows when I was a kid, um, growing up back in the early '90s or what have you, and and here in this day and age of I'm actually happy that we got some of the um we got some of the reboots of some of the game shows, classic game shows, I should say, coming back. And we recently had the reboot of, let's see, well, we had a reboot of Let's Make a Deal. We had a reboot of Match Game, Card Sharks, Press Your Luck, um, and a few others, of course. And of course, Family Feud and The Price is Right still going on. Of course, that's two of the ones. That's among the game shows I either watched when I was a kid, or some of the game shows I watched on Game Show Network or Buzzer. But and a lot of them I like. Of course, I realize, of course, your classics are always going to beat the remakes, because I mean, the remakes are never the same. So, and this one here I just now got done watching is no exception. I just got done watching the reboot of Supermarket Sweep. That was another classic game show I watched back in the day, back when it was on Lifetime, channel of all channels, and with David Ruprecht as the host, and then of course you had to get announcers. Johnny Gilbert was the original announcer, and then it was Randy West when they brought the show back in 2000. But now here we are, 18 years after Supermarket Sweep last ran in 2002. They bring it back in the year 2020, this time with Leslie Jones as the host. And of course, this one, like all the other remakes, is on ABC. So my overall review on this whole game show, it was okay. There are a lot of things that are different, which I expected, because I mean, first off, the price inflation, I expected that, because things are a whole lot more expensive now than they were when Supermarket Sweep last ran. And the price of the bonuses going up, the time of the sweeps, or the big sweep, I should say. The time of the big sweep I knew was going to be added a little bit, because it was a minute 30 when I watched the original version. Well, somewhat original. And now they give you 2 minutes to start things off. So you had that, and you didn't have the question to start the little sweep off, the mini sweep, I should say. It's like Leslie asks the question, and then they just don't give the contestant the chance to buzz in and answer the question. No. It's like she asks the question, and then the contestants just go off into the market, and right away. No buzzing in the answer to the question. I'm like, and okay, and so this is a strange way to start things off. So I mean, the first, and she goes to like what was like the first 15 minutes of the original show, bam, 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 in the first 8 minutes of the show, and it's like. She goes through the mini sweep, then she goes through, well, of course, you have to ask how the contestants are, obviously, and what they do for a living, obviously. And I don't know if she even did that now. But you had that you have one little round of some game. Now, the logos game, I actually like that. You got the start of the logo, and then you immediately add into what's in the logo. And then the contestants have to buzz in the answer, and guess what the logo was? Like if it was a logo for Chef Boyardee, or for Arm & Hammer, or Del Monte canned foods and stuff like that. That was pretty cool. But then and after that one little game, they go into the round robin game, and I'm thinking, we're 8 minutes into the show. Why are we doing this this early in the show? Because I'm so used to the round robin game being about the middle of the show and stuff like that, obviously. But those parts, of the show, that was pretty good, except for the mini sweep because I wasn't so used to, just ask the question and just run to the store and try to get the what she thinks the answer to the question. It's that's craziness. And of course, the big sweep part I thought was pretty cool, except one little question: why couldn't you have added an announcer to the show or hired an announcer for the show instead of the host announcing the big sweep? Yeah. I'm thinking to myself, okay, she's gonna do this all okay, alright. But they couldn't have hired at least somebody to announce the big sweep. So, yeah. And this being a 1 hour version, I mean, yeah, you had the big sweep. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you had two of the same game, obviously. It's like, it's like you had two 30-minute versions of the show all crammed into 1 hour, you know. And so you had the big sweep, and of course, as expected, you had the first one where they tried to go for the contestant, the winning contestant had to go for the oh, let's see, it's now $100,000 now as opposed to 5,000 in the version I grew up on. Yeah. So yeah, it's now going for the $100,000 to try to get the big three items. And what they did on the first half of the show, the first 30 minutes, is that you got it's like, okay, you got one item, it's $25,000. You wanna keep on shopping, or do you wanna quit and take the money? First, after the first item, they continued shopping, so they found a second item, and then host comes in. It's like, okay, you found a second item. Do you want that's $50,000? You wanna take that and quit, or do you want to keep shopping? They take that and quit, obviously. So I mean, I thought to myself, what is this? It's like they didn't do that on the. I mean, good lord, the final round was like the final round. I remember back when I was a kid was you had 1 minute to find three items, and if you found all three items before the buzzer rang, it was $5,000 to the winning contestants. And so now if they could now the first round they could have just the first half of the show they could have just left it at the same excuse me at the same um rules. Find all three items within 1 minute and you win $100,000, which I think on the second half of the show they did that. And so I thought, okay, that's pretty okay. So why couldn't you just done it in the first half of the show? So well, so that was pretty much so yeah, other than the few differences of the show, I mean, I thought the show was okay. And as far as the host of the show, Leslie Jones, I mean, she did a really good job hosting the show. I had no problem with how she hosted the show. But yeah, I mean, a little, I mean, like I mean, I have no problem with. I really had no problem with her, and I had no problem, obviously, with yeah, but the host, but a little bit, a little bit obnoxious in the voice wise, obviously, but but still, I thought she did okay hosting the show. I mean, she's no David Ruprecht. I mean, I will say that, but I mean, because I'm biased to how the show version I grew up on, but all in all, in the remake, I would probably say give it maybe. I would say I say out of a scale of 1 to 10 with 10 being the best, I would say probably either a 6 or a 7. I think as far as the show is concerned. I mean, like I said, the changes I overall expected that because it was as far as the price inflation, the time they give the people for the big sweep and stuff like that. I expected kind of a little bit of a update obviously on that. Um, so that was pretty much an overall review of the game show. And so as far as the Supermarket Sweep reboot that is, and so like I said, about six or 7 out of 10 on this reboot as how I review it. So there you have my review of the Supermarket Sweep, and and so for now, this is redracer1985, and ladies and gentlemen, I'll catch you on the flip side. And oh yeah, also tell me what you thought of the game show too.